what I call data as the new world oil. Durex incident in India. Unfortunate customer who was ordering a bulk because quantum computing is in advancement. So now we are discussing about the post-quantum algorithms and all that, which is something that we need to think about. We need to start employing because these encryptions, what we are having now is maximum AES 256, RSA, all these encryptions can be broken. At one day, if the quantum computing goes off, best thing, be vigilant. Don't trust anything that you see on the cyberspace. It might be fake. Just validate it as much as possible and then take it out. Be sure that you are having the right news, right information and right source.
Welcome back to a very special episode of TechTalk360, and we are here in the Cyber Week podcast series done by TechTalk360, and today we have Yoshika, Kehelpannala. Hi Yoshika.
Nice meeting you.
How are you doing today?
So far, lovely. Thanks.
Amazing. So Yoshika is the CSO of Allianz Insurance and cybersecurity and data privacy visionary and evangelist. So Yoshika, great meeting you today.
Pleasure.
Before we dive deep in, who is Yoshika?
Nobody asked me this question, I would say, once more. So, I myself, currently as a CISO, I'm working for Allianz, but I used to be a techie.
Oh.
And then I used to be a programmer. And my passion, I am a photographer. So I'm kind of into different realms and different domains. So I would say that's me.
Perfect. Short and sweet. So to get like our introduction and the intro to the episode, what is your role as a CISO at Allianz?
Well, that's a very good question. Actually, my role is to ensure that the cyber governance coming down from the Allianz group is being established, as well as the local security concepts of whatever that the frameworks that we will be having in terms of local. For example, next year, PDPA. And then we are expecting cyber bill and all those things. So when those things comes in, it's my duty to ensure that all those things are getting complied and then move together as in one framework.
Oh, we could fly.
So this is the essence, I would say, in my role basically would happen.
Perfect. So we'll start off from the present year onwards in terms of the cybersecurity domain, and what do you see like the major changes that has happened in the cybersecurity domain in the present year for until now, or even in the last year, in your perspective?
Well, this is the first year that we have seen a deepfake CEO was drawing out $25 million the first year. And then the first year to see that AI-based voice was trying to fish out somebody, again at Ferrari. So those kind of threats are now getting, more and more on the ground, as realistic as they can be. And what I can see is that that would be the trend that we'll be seeing on the upcoming days. And also, we are in the phase of an election, so I'm expecting some funny stuff to happen. Usually what happens in Sri Lankan domain, when it comes to Sri Lankan domain, more or less, I think 20,000 odd cases that were reported to CERT was from social platforms being taken out. So with that funny stuff's happening around the election, I think that will be something that we need to look out for, and then that is something I'm foreseeing as well.
Amazing. So if I just ask you, what are some of the most notable and impactful cybersecurity attacks in your POV?
Okay, so there were few attacks, if I can recall, in Malaysia, recently the Malaysian databases were compromised. And then it went towards Thailand, as well as it came towards India, where the Indian I would say a Durex company got hacked, and then their data was published. So these sort of things happened within the realm of South Asia, and then this is something that is growing as well. We see some trends happening across social media, taking over the accounts and so on. So from Sri Lankan context, I haven't seen that much of like, significant things happening, but of course, might be the cases that, people won't report, because the awareness level of the people, I would see, is very less. They don't want to report that. They try to find help from friends and family, sort of places within the internet itself. Sometimes they get scammed again. So that's something that I would see in Sri Lankan context.
So in terms of the cyberspace of Sri Lanka, what is your comment on that, and are we in a good state, or do we need like certain levels of improvement?
Well, within the younger generations, like you people, me, I'm from the oldies, and from the younger generations, I see that yes, the trend is pretty much they are aware and all that. But when it comes to those younger people, that awareness level is really, it's remaining, but when it comes to the level that is come from the parents of us and all that, the older generation, that's a huge gap. And those people get scammed pretty easily. And then they can be victimized by the fake news, especially when it comes to deepfakes and all that. Because right now, if somebody uses deepfake to do something, like some funny stuff like what we have seen in India, the political cases, where they were utilizing deepfakes here and there, but those deepfakes were able to be seen as deepfakes. But unfortunately, even though they can be seen as deepfakes, people tend to believe that. So here in Sri Lanka as well, people might be believing those things, especially for those older generations, because of this less awareness kind of thing. So that is what I'm seeing in terms of Sri Lankan context.
If I just ask you, talking about the future of cybersecurity and cyberspace, how do you see the landscape evolving in 2025 and the future years?
Well, a lot of things would happen in terms of cyber, because I was talking about AI a little bit. So AI was the key, because when it comes to AI, people would think that okay, it's ChatGPT, it's something else, maybe a word processing detail, something can be done, but it's not that. So it might be going into different layers, like it might be going into some other fields as well. It can increase manufacturing. It can increase the productivity. So when those things increases, the best thing happens is that technology can be utilized for the good as well. Bad thing, yes, it can be utilized for the bad. It can be weaponized. Now we have seen some of those malicious content, they are building themselves up using this AI technology, using this advanced the language models and all that. So that also can be the challenge that we will be facing in the 2025, and of course the deepfakes. Because nowadays, if you look into these phones and all that, you will see that there are lots of tools that you can play around and then create small video clips at any given times. Yeah. If somebody wants to spend a little bit of money, like a hacker group or somebody, they can get financed pretty easily. And if a nation state took this forward and then did something horrendous onto this AI-based, kind of an attack, how are we to say that we are protected? So this is the challenge that we would need to have and then to understand in 2025 and beyond. This is what I feel.
Simplify your tasks with just a fingertip and begin your incredible AI journey with the all-new Asus VivoBook S15. Available now.
Amazing. Are there specific attack methods or tactics in your perspective that attackers use or tend to use in the future? Like, I think you just gave a hint on AI. I think we can build on that.
Yeah, for what I've seen, ransomware is the biggest, most threat, because most of the companies, the larger scales as well as medium, small, even to the day-to-day entities, like people like us, would get compromised with our devices to a ransomware, and then it'll lock the device, and then it'll ask us for some sort of a money. Trying to be smart, yeah. So what if I combine that with some sort of an AI, some sort of a language model that is there, and of course with the services that you will have as ransomware services and all that. So what will happen with that?
So Yoshika, on the corporate side, if you take it from in the industry or the financial service providers, when their data gets lost and when they face a lot of attacks, the main thing that is gone out is the data.
Yes.
What do you see the value in that, and how can it affect the industry and the company?
That's again a very good question, because what I call data as the new world's oil. It's not me who's calling new world's oil, but somebody else did, and then I'm referring back to that. So there's a value for every bits and pieces of information, especially when it comes to industries where the PII can be stored, processed. If a leak happens, it would create disruptions within the popularity. It would be like it's going to create a massive damage, basically by revealing your health information, your personal information, and then the people would be able to utilize those things. Most probably the malicious actors will utilize that for malicious activities, yeah. And what will happen, like what I was mentioning previously, Durex incident in India. Unfortunate customer who was ordering a bulk. I don't want his name to be publicized on the internet, yeah. I don't want to see that name. What will happen, yeah? People will get shamed. So that sort of information would be the key for an attacker to go ahead and blackmail somebody. Hey, I see your name on this particular thing. You want me to post it on the internet? You want me to put it on the dark web? You want me to give some money and then shut my mouth up? What if he turns back? We don't know, yeah, we never know. So that's the risk that we foresee.
Amazing. That's actually a good point. From there, if we take any emerging technologies and strategies, do you think to mitigate that type of attacks and vulnerabilities in the future? Any new methods that you see?
Well, something that is again helping the technology out is that of automatic patching and all that. So that is already there in this world right now. And one old strategy is to back up and then to safeguard it, but still that can be enhanced. So those kind of enhancements, data backups can be shredded into different pieces, and then different algorithms can come up and then put them together. Those kind of things might happen with the advancements of the algorithms. And also at this point I would like to mention, because quantum computing is in advancement, yeah. So now we are discussing about the post-quantum algorithms and all that, which is something that we need to think about. We need to start employing, because these encryptions, what we are having now, is maximum AES-256, RSA, like all these encryptions can be broken at one day if the quantum computing goes off. And with the advancements of what I've seen in the graphic cards and all that, especially onto the graphic cards being able to process vast number of information and all that. So it's about to have a leap on the quantum computing. That happens, what will happen? Data that has been extorted by the malicious parties can be broken with their encryption and all that. So what will happen? That can be taken out. So those kind of things, I think, will pave the path towards the post quantum algorithms and all that. So those are the things that I think will come towards
the next level,
protecting all these things. Yes.
Amazing. The concept of cyber risk qualification, what is it actually, and what do you see the value in it?
Actually, it's cyber risk quantification. So what does it do is that it allows a party to identify a particular risk and then to quantify the value of impact that it can come up. It can come up with certain impacts like financial impacts, non-financial impacts, and then to let you know, or your board of management, the people who's designing, to know a particular figure. Because when it comes, a risk comes with a dollar and cent bill, everybody would understand, right? If I'm telling you, okay, I'm going to lose this one and this is going to be costing me this much, you will try to protect it, yes? So the same thing happens for organizations, for people and all that. So this CRQ, what it'll do, it'll quantify everything, it'll give you a monetary value. So this is what will happen. based on you. And in terms of corporations like us, what we do is that we'll calculate it against our profit. So how much profit are we going to lose? Question is that. And this will be very useful when it comes to the PDPA, because one fine is going to cost you massive, and then multiple fines increase the amount.
So Yoshika, shifting our focus back into Sri Lanka and Sri Lankan industry, Sri Lankan organizations, the level of cybersecurity awareness that they do have inside the organization, and if they are a service provider outside to the people, what are your thoughts on the value of this?
Well, honest answer is that there is no many awareness programs, adequate awareness programs within the country itself. But like people like you creating these sort of platforms and gathering people and then providing awareness, that will be really helpful for this sort of a country, because at least the younger generations whom going to be taken the realm, and then the the steering wheels of those organizations one day will be able to understand and then value it. They'll be able to do that in very short time. They will take the helms and then they will take the roles very soon. So when it comes to that, currently I don't see that much of awareness, especially when it comes to government and all that. I see a lack of having all those things. But private sector, thankfully, with people like you on board, we have seen lots of things happening, and then people are doing lots of stuff for the betterment of the country, for the betterment of the society as well. But I think it should be more proactive, I would say, and then let it be engaged by a lot of people, so that we will create. And one more thing, the older generations we all have forgotten. I think the older generation is the one that we should be providing with the education first, because that is what the Singaporeans did when they came into their power, and then they were building the country. First and foremost, what they did, they bought the old people and then they made them tech savvy, and then they did build the tech platforms on top. So it's time for us to do the same thing. I think the country is shifting with all the political dilemma and all that, but I think right now it's a time for us to do that. And thank you so much for doing that as a part.
If I just add on to that, I think you are the best person to ask in terms of working with the international countries. What are the areas that we as a country should should be more focused in the next era in terms of the standards and the awarenesses? I think you had a pinpoint there, but maybe if you can explain it a bit more.
So yes, so in terms of elaborating, I would suggest that we should be much more digitalized. With that digital transformation, we should be better educate our people, we should better be train them, and then make them ready for that kind of a change. This is number one, I would say, because with those COVID days, we all have seen how difficult it was to get certain services done, yeah. And today as well, you see lots of things are like, old days, and you have to go to a queue, and even you go to a queue, I mean, like, nobody's going to honor your time. If you're being given with a time slot from a queue token machine, why not you can go at that particular time and get the service done? That needs digitalization, and that needs optimization. That is something that we should bring in. By bringing that to the picture, we must ensure the backends are secured. We cannot just bring in the technology and say that, hey, we are a tech-savvy country, hey, everything is ready. No. You might not be, because the backend isn't secured. So you have to secure the backend while bringing the technology in for the front end. And then make sure that you have a binding in between these two. And of course, you are creating an awareness so that everybody is in harmony to use this technology and be safe. So that's the whole understanding.
Amazing. So if I just ask you in terms of quick tips, if you can give to the individuals, businesses, and the country, what would the quick tips be?
Wow, if I'm going to do it in a quick one, I might not be doing any justification for those tips, So, best thing, be vigilant. Don't trust anything that you see on the cyberspace. It might be faked. just validate it as much as possible and then take it out. Be sure that you are having the right news, right information, and right source. Unless otherwise, it could be faked. Because we have seen lots of fake stuff happening. Very recently, Sampath Bank was having something, some sort of a gift scheme and all that. So those things were like, fake. And then people were like, my God, they were really attracted to that, and then they divulged all the information. So don't trust anything. Very quick tip. Be sure that you check the source and then get it back. I did not do any favor for that, no.
Amazing. So before we close off, how has your journey been so far in the industry?
Well, it's quite nice, I would say. It has its ups and downs, but so far it's good. I would say I'm happy with that. And I look forward to see certain events as well. But let's see how it goes.
Amazing. And there's a lot of youth, young generation watching in from different areas, different fields. What do you have to say for this youth here in Sri Lanka? And in terms of cybersecurity, maybe you call it someone who wants to be like you. What do you tell them?
So first and foremost, don't be like me. Yeah. So if you want to be somebody, be you. And then if you want to really to be somebody to take the realm and then take the helm, yes, be sure that you will be working hard, dedicated and passionate. So that's the key. That's the key to everything. So unless otherwise, that's it.
Thank you so much, Yoshika, for coming in today, and just tell some final words on the podcast and how your experience has been.
Well, it's a lovely experience. You have a lovely crew as well. Thank you so much, guys, for having me. And it's a pleasure to be here. And then I'm really thankful to be able to create some sort of an awareness if I did that at all.
Thank you so much for making time for us on your busy schedule.
It's no problem.
Thank you, Yoshika.
Thank you so much.
And that's another episode of TechTalk360, and we are here in a very special podcast series, the Cyber Week, and we'll see you again.